Alright, hey folks, welcome back to our Final Fantasy VI playthrough. We are now on part 10. 10 parts in, can you believe it? And we are halfway through the Magitech Factory. We have basically broken 6 pieces of Magicite out, and we've really royally pissed off Kefka here. And now we have to make our escape, and unfortunately we got here and we left ourselves in pretty ridiculously awful shape. We've only got 1 tent to speak of, very bad health across the board. And we just lost Celeste, so we do not have a magic user anymore. Fortunately, and I stand corrected, a natural magic user. We have Sabin, so we're going to use him. Unfortunately, he's also our main hitter, so he's going to have to do double duty here in hopes that he can keep us alive and kill some of these things. Alright, enough of that. Basically, you're looking at us. We are equipping. We're trying to decide which espers we want to equip. And I can tell you right now, anything that will allow you to earn Ice 2, Bolt 2, Fire 2, Meduin is a very, very good Esper to have at this point in the game because you learn all the secondary magic spells. So equip that one for sure. I probably wouldn't put it on your cures. You can really do whatever you want at this stage, but consider who you got. At this point, obviously, you won't be able to use those spells, but you need to equip them to earn points for those spells. So we're talking with Sid, and obviously this is not looking to be very good. So Sid's going to push us out of here into a minecart, and away we go! And the epic escape in the Magitech Factory has begun. Yes, the graphics are pixelated and awful looking, but we're going to show you how this works. Alright, so you're going to be fighting on the rails here against these things called mag rotors. And fortunately, we are getting a lot of preemptive attacks here, and we just stole a bolt edge, which is very useful for shadow. Any kind of edges or shadow weapons, obviously. Little hint, use a fire dance. It will kill all these enemies in one shot almost instantaneously. So that's your key to getting past all these things. So definitely use the fire dance as you can. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that one more time just to show you that it wasn't a fluke. And again, the nice thing is, all you're really doing is facing mag rotors here. You got maybe 5 or 6 waves of them, I guess. And then eventually you will come up upon the boss, also on the rails here. Now there are no breakpoints. Once you start the rail section, you will go all the way until you get up to the boss. Fortunately, these mag rotors are extremely easy. Again, they can all be one-shot. So knowing that, we're just going to rage speed all our way to the end until we get to the boss fight here, and you're going to see nothing but that. Now that was nice if you were paying attention. Locke just learned Bolt 2. That's a very, very critical spell for someone to know at this juncture because there will be a boss coming up that we can actually use that spell against for significant damage. So we're going to keep on killing all these things in rage speed, steal a few more bolt edges. It would be really nice if we had shadow at this point. Unfortunately, we don't. Alright, now we come out of here, and here's our next boss, the number 128. No real weakness to speak of. Basically, just hit it as hard as you possibly can. And you're going to notice that this boss has 3 hit points. It has a main body and then 2 arms. Hit them as hard as you can. Basically, what I do is I use attack all attacks or spells. Obviously, you want to target the main body, because the sooner that goes down, the sooner you can win this thing. The boss will use something called Red Feast, which is basically going to heal itself for the same amount of damage that it hits you with. And that Bolt 2 spell really came in handy here. Thankfully, we learned it while we were on the way. Fire Dance is going to be very useful. Definitely use it to not only hit the boss, but also take out the arms. Go ahead and have Edgar drill. Obviously, drill the main body. And Locke, go ahead and have him steal if you want to. And then after he successfully steals the first time, just use Bolt 2 or whatever his strongest attack is. Now we get rid of the arms, thankfully. Now unfortunately he's going to cast Haste, which is going to allow him to act quicker, of course. I'm not really concerned at this point. We are hitting him for very, very good damage, and even though he doesn't really have a weak point, it doesn't really matter. This is surprisingly a very easy fight as long as you hit hard and stick your teammates in the back row. If you notice very carefully, that's what we did. And boom! This was not much of a boss fight at all. You thought we were in deep trouble, didn't you? Not this time we're not. So we're going to get through. We got out of here with relative ease, and we did earn a tent. That was huge. We're going to ride the rails out of here to the end of the Magitech Factory. Boom! I wish it was always that easy to take those things out. Now we do have a save point here, and I do strongly recommend if you have a tent, which thankfully we do, go ahead and use the tent at the save point. You can switch your characters back to the front if you want, although I would obviously keep them in the back row because you have yet another boss to come. Yeah, that's right, another boss. I said 3 bosses way back in part 9. Nah, there's actually 4. So, yeah, it's going to get even more ridiculously awful. Now, the good news is, as long as you hit this next boss extremely hard, it's not as tough as you think it is. Now, I will say that the boss coming up has a couple different weak points. Also, it has some attacking that it can absorb. Alright, so we basically get to the start of Vector. Setzer comes to greet us. Yeah, Celeste's saying here right now. And of course, that disturbs Setzer because he was looking to marry her at one point. And they decide to get the hell out of Dodge. Oh boy, there's Kefka. Yep, that's right. We just blew the hell out of that place. What's he gonna do now? Nah, I think so. We're getting away with it. I don't know what the heck you're gonna do. That can't be good. 2 crane arms. Alright, so basically they're talking aboard the airship and they are about to get the hell out of Dodge, as we said. Yeah, that would be nice if we started to leave right now, Setzer, please. Something horrible's coming. Well, just fly away. I mean, the cranes aren't going to fly. But yeah, we just stick right there and we get stuck into a boss fight. Okay, so we have 2 cranes coming up here. And they each have relative hit points of 18 and 2300 apiece. Now, you also want to take notice that each of the respective cranes have different types of magic that they can absorb. The left one can absorb lightning. The right one can absorb fire. And you need to remember that. That is extremely critical because if you hit the wrong crane with the wrong type of attack and you do it 3 times, it will unleash either Fire 3 or Bolt 3, and it will absolutely outright kill one of, if not all of your players, depending on who it hits. So be extremely careful. Remember, the left crane absorbs lightning, the right crane absorbs fire. So knowing that, Edgar is always going to use his drill because it's non-elemental. Locke is going to use Bolt, and he can do that against the right crane. And then Sabin is going to use his Fire Dance, or Fire Spells, Fire Attacks, whatever. He's got so many options. He's going to do that against the left crane. And honestly, he can do almost anything he wants. Even the Aura Bolt is pretty effective on the left crane. Now here's Setzer using one of his slot attacks. This is called the X-Bomb. Nice little mini airship. Deals dang good damage. Over 1,000 attack. That's a nice introduction to Setzer here. Very, very nice. And we earned 4 magic points for taking down those cranes. And we made pretty short work of those cranes, knowing how to effectively take them down. The strategy is important. Okay, and we finally get away from there. And congratulations, we finally have free reign to move around. Although we're not quite at the point where we can fly wherever we want just yet. We do need to return to Zozo, and we're going to check on Terra and see how she's doing here. So we do get out of Vector with all of the Espers and the Magicite intact from the Magitech Factory. We break away, a little harmed, but we get free. We're going back to Zozo. We're going to check on Terra, see how she's doing. And then after that point, we're going to have a little bit of a story coming up here. So at this point, we are learning a little bit more about Terra's backstory. And we're going to see Terra is going to come to after Locke breaks out the Magicite. Yep, it has a little bit of a reaction with her. Seems to be charging her up, giving her more strength and power. Father was raised in the Esper's world. Why, yes, you were, Terra. And although I love the story, as I've been telling everybody for ages, that's not the point of these videos. So we're going to skip right on through it. So basically, the whole point of this is to learn about the backstory of Terra and the Espers here. And, just move around. It's impossible to lose this section. There's no fighting involved. You just have to move from talk point to talk point, checkpoint to checkpoint, until eventually you get to the very end of this and you see what happened with Terra and the Espers and her parents. And then you will come out on the other side. And Terra should be ready to rejoin the party. But first, of course, we're going to learn everything there is to know about the backstory. So go ahead and watch and read and have fun if you haven't seen this already. And we'll see you on the other side. Well, now, it looks like we have finally learned the origin of Terra. She is the product of a human and an Esper, much like many people throughout this game have thought. Alright, here's Emperor Gestal. So here we are seeing where a long time ago he first broke through the portal and he found the Esper world. And here in the story, the Espers are talking about the fact that they have to seal off the portal gate so no other human beings can get through here. And that's exactly what's about to happen. So this is basically where the link between worlds ends. And Meduin is headed out there to watch all of the human beings go bye-bye. And they're trying to pull them back in. Oops, there goes all the good stuff. And Gestal now has Terra. And he is going to hold on to her until she grows up. And that will be the end of it. Until the present day. So, pretty interesting story to say the least, and now we know the whole backstory, and hopefully Terra will be on board with staying with us for the remainder of the game. Hint, she will. So yeah, here we go, and now that that's over and done with, we have all means, we have free reign to go wherever we want on this airship. And there's a few things we can do here, but one thing we're going to do is we're going to fly around for a little bit, and ultimately, where we need to go to progress the game is to the Cave of the Sealed Gate. But before we get there, we're going to do some exploring in various towns here. And one town we really haven't visited yet is the town of Miranda. Now, Miranda will be interesting in the second half of this game, but for right now, just to show you, a lot of stuff we already have. In fact, pretty much we have everything there is to have at this point. If for some reason you come across something that you don't and it'll benefit you, then go ahead and buy it. Make yourself stronger. For the time being, we're going to go ahead and optimize Setzer since he is brand new to our party, doesn't really have anything, and it won't hurt to equip him with much. So, make sure you put everything you can onto him, and we'll go ahead and we'll check the weapons store, and we're probably not going to find much of anything useful here. And sure enough, there isn't. We already have all the major stuff. Boomerang, we already picked that up in the town of Zen. So yeah, this was a pretty pointless place to come, although the story here is kind of interesting if you look at the dog fighting. But we're not really interested in that. We are going to continue on. Thank you for nothing, Miranda, at least for now. Up and moving about, and let's fly to our next little mini destination here. So there is the town of Vector. If we want, we could always stop there. But of course, the place we're looking to go is right here. We just flew over it. So this is the Cave of the Sealed Gate, and we have to go in there to get to where the sealed Esper Gate is. So just to show you, we're going to walk in here. And right now, this is an Imperial base that guards the town of the sealed, well, not the town, but it guards the sealed gate. And you will not be able to walk through here until this base is cleared out. And you're probably wondering, well, how do I do that? Do I just fight them? No, that's not how it works. There are some things we have to do before then. And we're just going to fly around for a little bit. Like I said, we've got free roam, free reign to do whatever we really want to. Here's an island out in the middle of nowhere. Doesn't serve much of a purpose now, but there will be an island in the second half, latter half of this game, which looks very similar to that, which we will go to. We have the option to fly back to Narsh, and actually that's not a bad idea at all, because there is another character we intend to pick up at some point in the near future. But for right now, like I said, we're just flying around and exploring the free roam. Now, one thing that you could possibly think about doing is going back to the Veld area, and now that we've encountered quite a few more enemies than before, we could go back there and give Gaw a chance to earn and learn some more valuable enemy skills, but we're not really going to do that. Really, that's not much use until we get to the second half of the game. For now, we're going to stop back at Narsh. We're going to go right back in there, and we're going to show you some things here. So we are now being invited back in, and let's see what they've got to tell us this time. Alright, so basically what's happening here is that the people of Narsh have come together with the Returners, and they're discussing a plan to ultimately go ahead and take down the Empire here. So they're combining a whole bunch of resources, is what it comes down to. And ultimately what they would like us to do is go to the sealed gate of the Esper Cave, open it up, and we need to get the Espers on our side in order to take down the Empire. And in case you're not reading the story, we all know at this point that Terra is the combination of a human and Esper, and she's the only link between the two worlds. So knowing that, we're going to have to use Terra to get the Espers on our side, and we're going to do that once we open up the gate to the sealed cave, and that's the next major plot point in our story right now. And we got some interesting things along the way. we're going to take a look at, but at least now we know the checkpoint. And with that being said, we're going to skip the rest of this story. One thing we will take note of is that basically for the time being, we're going to be sticking around in Narsh, just trying to get all of our weapons and items upgraded to the level that they should be. Obviously, it helps to have GP to spend. If you don't, you can always go out and farm for a little bit, but I honestly believe that we're pretty good to go. So, with that being said, I think that takes care of the story. Sure does. You can talk to all three of them if you want to. There's really nothing to be gained here. Always, always, always make sure you check all the clocks, get a free elixir. And we're pretty much done with this section. So now, again, as always, we can go around, check all of the shops, check all of the weapon and item stores. And I believe at this point we are pretty much set, but we'll check everything. We'll see if anybody can actually use anything. Yeah, we're pretty good. Again, it would be nice if we had Shadow at this point, but we don't. So we will come back at a later time. Now, actually, there is a point. If you remember way back in the beginning of the game, we encountered the Moogles, right? There actually is an opportunity to get one of the Moogles into our party right now, but it's not really a high priority. So we're not going to, worry about that just yet, but we will go ahead and we'll do it for completion's sake. It's always nice to have another party member available just in case. Now here we got a lot of new armor that we haven't seen yet, so I strongly suggest that you power up all of the armor that you could use and do need. Looks like just about everybody can benefit from it. You can never not have enough high-powered armor, so buy what you need. And let's go ahead and get the heck out of here. And I believe, looking at this, we are pretty good. I don't know that we're going to end up keeping Setzer in our party right now, even though he was very, very useful in that boss fight against the Cranes with a 1,000 damage attack. We're still probably going to get rid of him for Terra or somebody else. Setzer, again, is very luck-based, and if he fits your play style, kudos to you, good for you, but it's not really much for me. So I think we are going to end up taking him out if memory serves me correctly, and we'll end up putting Terra back in there. So right about now, I believe we're good. So one last thing to do, as always, before you leave Narsh, go back to the School of Knowledge, take a little drink from the pot, refill your magic and your health, and then get out of there. And we're going to jump back into the airship right now. Alright, and as I mentioned a little bit earlier, what we're going to be doing right now is unequipping, well, we didn't mention this, but we're going to unequip all party members that are not currently in our party. And the reason we're going to do that is because some of these party members may have armor, weapons, and equipment on that we aren't aware of, and of course, if that's the case, we can't equip the best stuff on our current party members. Now, I did mention that I wanted to put Terra in the party, and that's going to come at the cost of losing Setzer, not permanently, obviously, but we are going to do that, and we're going to use Terra, Edgar, Sabin, and Locke. Those are the 4 best party members in my honest opinion at this time. Once you have your current party ready to go, once again, make sure you unequip all party members not currently in the main party. That's going to mean Setzer. And go ahead and equip the best stuff. Make sure you have the appropriate espers on the right people so you can learn the right skills. And then we can go ahead and take off again. Now keep in mind, we are looking to get to the Cave of the Sealed Esper. And the reason we went back to Narsh is because that's going to allow us to actually get to the Cave of the Sealed Esper. Think back a little bit. The last time that we went there, we had to go through an encampment, which you're going to see right here, and it was full of guards. And normally, to get through there successfully, those guards have to be gone. And check this out. They sure are. That wouldn't have happened if we had not visited Narsh. So they have a little cutscene, they talk. Yes, they're ready to go. Now, one thing I want to show you, there is a building here. You go into the basement of this building, and you're going to see that there is a locked door here. However, behind it, there are quite a few very nice chests. And I will tell you, in those chests are tons of GP, treasure, items, weapons, relics, things like that. Really nice stuff that we can use for later in the game. Unfortunately, you can't access the stuff right now. So we're just going to walk right on past it, up these steps, over to the right, and down. And that's going to take us right through once my controller decides to work. We go right through the encampment, and we are now at the Cave of the Sealed Gate. We're going to walk right on through, and this can very much be a perilous journey if you don't know what you're doing here. So I will tell you right now, we're not going to go there. We're just going to back up. We're going to go all the way out. Just want to kind of show you what was ahead. We're going to leave. We're going to do a couple more things here before we actually plunge forward with that. So for the time being, we're going to fly around for just a little bit, and we're going to do some exploration. I want to show you a couple more things here before we actually go straight for the Cave of the Sealed Esper Gate. We're going to stop at this town. This is the town of Albrook. We've already seen this town before, but the reason we're going here is to kind of replenish some stuff that we don't already have. We only had one tent. We'll go ahead and refill it a little bit. We've already bought one. We'll buy a couple of Phoenix Downs as well. Can never hurt to have more than one or a couple of these. If you've got the GP, go ahead and spend it. And that's really all we came here for. We're already maxed on our weapons and armor and stuff that we could possibly get. Once again, making sure that we have all the appropriate stuff equipped, and it looks like we do. Alright, sounds good. We're going to go back into the airship. And at this time, we are headed back over to this section here. It looks like we have all the appropriate items and stuff. We're going to go back into the Imperial encampment once again. Going to go up the steps, all the way around, down the steps, over to the right, and once again back into the Cave of the Sealed Gate. This will lead us to the Esper Cave. Alright, we have an Assassin Blade. This is a weapon that is meant for Shadow. It is very good because basically it will one-shot anything, has a chance to one-shot some stuff. Unfortunately, once again, we don't have them in our party. We could get them, but we obviously don't have them right now. Now here we have encountered 3 Lick Wizard enemies here, and these things are pretty nasty. They are low-key nasty. They do decent damage. They also cast Confuse, which can lead to obvious problems here. Now, obviously, if you're going to fight these things, don't use fire, because they like to use fire, and they will do big-time damage. And the problem is, we haven't realized that till just now. So, yeah, we have enemies here. We have spells that focus mainly on fire, and that's not a good thing. Now, we have put ourselves in a very bad situation right now. Everyone's getting hit with fire and fire too, and check this out. Man, they are wailing on us. Yeah, this is bad. Terra is the only one left alive with only 35 HP. We better get the hell out of here. And that's exactly what we've done. This is the closest we've come to failing since starting this quest. Yeah, we're going to get the hell out of here, and clearly we're not ready just yet. Well, actually we could be if we would just smarten up and not use fire-based attacks. But for the time being, I think it's probably safe that we don't go there, and this may be a signal that we need to do some power leveling just to get a little bit stronger. So that is one thing that we're going to do, I will tell you right now. For the next part of this video, whenever it pops up, we will do some power leveling, and that may be done off video. I'm not sure if we're going to actually show that or not, but just want to kind of bring that up to you here. Now, clearly, the first thing we have to worry about, since we're in pretty bad shape, is getting back to full health. So we're going to go to an inn, drop some GP, get back to full health, also restore all of our magic power. So clearly, we got to get back to where we need to be. And that's going to take care of that. That was a pretty quick, easy spell pass. Going to go ahead and leave this in. Make sure everything looks good. I believe it is. Yep. And we're going to leave this town once again. Might as well check our espers. Do we have the right stuff equipped? Let's see. Yep, Locke currently has it. So, this is something, those level 2 magic spells, I would much rather have them on a character like Terra, just because she is a very good magic user. So we're going to take Meduin off of Locke and give him something else. Probably we'll give him Shiva, just because it's good for ice and cure spells. Unicorn, we'll leave that there. Phantom, let me do a couple things here. So Meduin is absolutely going to go on Terra here. I think that's the main thing we had to worry about. So she's got the main magic spell, Esper, here. We're going to go ahead, we're going to jump back in. And again, this is a good section, a good time to do some leveling right here. So if that is one thing you want to do, there's lots of places you could do power leveling, just to kind of show you here. So we'll do a fight or two. And this is pretty much going to take us to the end of this part here, just to show you. We're going to be walking around for quite some time. We'll do what we got to do. As I said, I don't know if we're going to show the power leveling or not. It's most likely going to be done off video here, so I'll make a determination on that before we upload the next part. But that's really where we're at right now. I'm thinking probably 1 to 2, maybe 2 to 3 levels per person, just to play it safe. The good thing is that when you go to level a character, every level that you go with, that you have a certain Esper equipped, they get a magic, a health, or a certain type of bonus. So we want to make sure we have the right Espers equipped whenever we do get those level ups here. But I think this is pretty much all we're going to worry about doing for right now, so we will conclude this fight. We're going to go ahead and save. Yep, I believe we're in good shape, so we'll take care of that. Thank you guys very much for sticking through 10 parts of this, and we will see you in the next one, part 11. Take care.